What's up, storytellers? Here's how to write a book in 24 hours with ChatGPT 4. All right, the first thing you need, no matter what you're writing, is a idea. And to get your idea, you can use genre, theme, plus concept or perspective. If you're writing nonfiction, it can be genre plus a concept plus a transformation or perspective. Now, if you don't have a genre, just head over to Amazon.com. They have a whole list of genres. I mean, they have hundreds, maybe even thousands of genres you can choose from to get started on your book. Now, for a theme, there's dozens of themes. There's coming of age, survival, beauty, friendship, isolation, free will, identity, nature, love, war, revenge, freedom, individuality, and the list goes on. And for your perspective or your concept, this is something unique to you. That way, ChatGPT 4 creates something that is unique. For this example, I'm just going to use crime fiction as my genre. And then for the theme, we're going to use free will. And I'm also going to add a subgenre to spice it up. And we're going to say heist. And then for the concept, we're going to put dream hoppers, people who invade, let's say thieves that invade and break into the dreams of the wealthy and powerful, gain wealth. And for themes, I'm also going to add power. And then my prompt, I'm just going to tell it to generate a list of 5 ideas using my genre, subgenre, theme, and concepts. So for the names, some of the names aren't that good, but the ideas are gold, okay? And I'm just going to go with this first idea, the Dream Vault Heist, or we can change the name later. In a world where dream hopping is the ultimate form of espionage, a skilled group of thieves known as the Dream Divers plan their most audacious heist yet. Their target, the subconscious of a billionaire tech mogul, where the blueprints of a revolutionary technology is hidden. As they navigate the surreal and unpredictable landscape of his dreams, they must confront their own notions of free will and power, questioning if the wealth they seek is truly worth the cost. And I can also add psychological thriller to this as well, or psychological aspect, just to create more suspense for this idea. Now that we have an idea, we can move on to plot, and we're just going to copy and paste this idea into a Word document. And we're going to name this Word document Codex, and we'll title it Dream Divers for the time being. And we're going to paste our story idea. Okay, now we can move on to plot, and we're just going to prompt it to generate a plot based on the Dan Harmon story circle. Now, it's up to you which plotting structure you want to use. You can use the 3-act, the hero's journey. There's also a 4-act and a 5-act structure. The 4-act is usually for screenwriters, but there's plenty to choose from. If you have one that is unknown or one that you created yourself, you can put that into a Word document, upload it, and then include it into the prompt that we have here. So generate a plot based on Dan Harmon's story circle for story idea number 1. And as you can see, ChatGPT 4 is familiar with Dan Harmon's story circle. Once it's done, we can review it. And if we like it, we can add it to our codex. If you're writing nonfiction, I suggest using the 3-act structure just to keep it simple. Okay, we have a protagonist. Okay, now, once you like it, if you like it, you can go ahead and copy this to your codex. If you don't like something, just prompt ChatGPT to change, for example, the character of the story to a woman. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this and I'm going to add it to my codex. Okay. And we'll just number this. All right. After you have your plot inside your codex, you can move on to building your characters. So we can use a simple prompt, generate a cast of characters based on my story idea, plot that will drive the story forward. Now, if you want to limit this to a certain amount of characters, include that inside the prompt. If you want something specific characteristics or traits about the characters, go ahead and include that into this prompt as well. So even if you're writing nonfiction, you're still going to want a cast of characters for your story. All right, so we have a cast of 7 characters: Alex, Jonathan, Maya, Tariq, Alina, Chris and Dr. Sophia Lynn. Again, if we don't like something about these characters, we can go ahead and prompt ChatGPT to change it. Now, I'm going to copy this to my codex, and we're going to call this characters. Now, I want to create a character profile for my main character. So just to get some more details about them, let's prompt ChatGPT to do that. Create a character profile for the main character and the billionaire tech mogul. Let's say make them polar opposites and include personality traits that will enhance the plot. All right, so now we have our characteristics and character profile for our two characters. You can do this for each character if you like. This is totally up to you. If you're writing nonfiction, you can just do research on the characters for your book. So let's go ahead and add this to our codex. Now we can move on to building our world. Now the prompt is going to be pretty simple, and it's based on my story idea, plot, characters, and cast. Develop locations that will enrich the story idea and support the plot. Now I already see things that I don't like, so I'm going to stop this and let's make this more realistic. And I'm going to add some limitations. Based on my story idea, plot, characters, and cast, develop locations where the story should take place. The locations must be between San Francisco, Miami, and Manhattan. And I'm also going to add, remember that no one knows about dream hoppers. It is underground to the public. And I'm putting this because ChatGPT 4 was trying to create a world where society was based around this technology, and I don't want that. All right, so this is much better. We have our locations. I'm going to copy this and add it to my codex. And now we can move on to outlining our story. I know some writers don't like to outline, but if you're using AI to write fiction or nonfiction, you're going to want it to follow a plotting structure or an outline just so that it stays on track and you'll get the best results, especially if you're trying to hit a specific word count for your book. So first you want to decide how many chapters do you want. For this example, we're just going to choose 30 chapters. And before we start outlining, let's download our codex. We'll download it as a Word document, and then we'll add it to ChatGPT 4. And then we'll just prompt it to use my codex, outline a 30 chapter manuscript. Each chapter should have 4 beats, be descriptive. And since ChatGPT likes to squeeze everything into one output, we're actually going to break this up into parts. So we're going to do 10 chapters at a time. I'm going to start with chapter 1 through 9. Actually, let's start with chapters 1 through 8. Okay, and if you don't like something, you can go ahead and prompt ChatGPT to make those changes. I'm going to move forward and prompt it to continue with chapters 9 through 17. And then you'll continue this process until you have all the chapters that you need for your manuscript. If there's something that you don't like, again, remember you can change anything that is conflicting to your plot, to your story, something that you don't like, characters. After you have them, go ahead and copy it to your codex. And we're going to call this section chapters. We're going to paste it in. So we have our story idea, our plot, our characters, and some chapters, as well as the world building. This will make or break your novel. If you're trying to write books and you find that your story is going off track, it's probably because you don't have a story Bible or a codex for the AI to follow. So we have this. We're going to move on to mimicking our writing style. And we're going to put this into a new Word document. And what you're going to do is you're going to copy and paste previous work that you've written inside this document and title it writing style. I am going to copy and paste a writing style inside this document, and then I'm going to download it as a Word doc. Do not skip this step if you want your book to read like a human and have personality. Again, just copy and paste samples from your writing or a writing style that you want to mimic. It could be from any author that you're trying to write like. All right, now it's time to actually generate chapters. This is the only prompt that you're going to need. Write beat 1 of chapter 1. The narrative is detailed and in third person. Each beat should be 500 to 800 words. The pacing must match the story arc. Dialogue should make up 2% of the chapter. Do not end the beat with the chapter concludes with, the chapter ends with, or anything besides the narrative. And now we can add our writing style, and then we can add our codex. All right, so we have beat 1. What we'll do is we'll copy and paste that original prompt, and we'll say write beat 2 of chapter 1. Again, the narrative is in third person, and we can change the amount of dialogue. Let's change it to 40%, for example, and then hit enter. And let's do it one more time for the last beat of the chapter. And let's make this 90%. All right, so we have our final beat. Let's go ahead and copy everything inside a Word document and check the word count. And we have close to 2,000 words for this chapter. Now, if this last beat was mostly narrative, it probably would have exceeded 2,000 characters. But by the time that I'm done with this, I should have about 60,000 words in total for this 30 chapter manuscript. Now you'll repeat this process for each chapter that you have in your manuscript, and this should not take you longer than 24 hours to do. I know ChatGPT has a limit on how much you can generate in a certain amount of hours, but I was able to do this for a fantasy novel and get the book out in less than 24 hours. So with that being said, you have all the tools that you need and everything that you need to know to get your book written in 24 hours and published on Amazon. Now, you're going to want to do quality control, obviously. Read through this, make sure that the continuity is right, grammar, editing, it follows your plot, your character development. Just make sure everything is concise and hire some editors, beta readers before you publish because you don't want to give fuel to the AI haters. Let me know what AI writing videos you would like to see in the future. Thanks for watching. Peace.